Peter Fernie trifectas the sprint here, the Coolgardie sprint, and Holly Watson gets a double on her birthday. Great to see. Probably the horse that he least expected to get up, I would fair to say, yeah. But no, he still thinks she's a really nice horse. Chatting to him post race there, he still has a big opinion of her. But at $14, that's a nice win if you found that one.
Yeah, exactly right. If you're still alive in the quaddie, you're doing a very good job at this stage of proceedings, Amelia. But no, a terrific win from Secret of Tyre. You have to give her all the credit where credit is due. She's been going really well this preparation. She was a dominant winner in 58 plus company last start leading into today, and she was always going to need to have to elevate to take out a race of that depth. But I do think the fact that she was able to get in on the minimum, only had the 54 kilos. Holly Watson riding in terrific form at the moment. She was able to just build the revs and build momentum into the race on the corner, and she was able to zap the horse late, Secret Attraction, who I unfortunately was pretty keen on, but I think the weight might have told a little bit late. The 7 kilos difference between the pair. Secret Attraction had the 61, and Lucy Fury, and Holly Watson and Secret of Tyre only had the 54 kilos, so I think that's maybe what told late in the race. But as you mentioned, Peter Fernie, a very strong hand leading into that race, and that's exactly how things panned out. But I wouldn't be dropping off Secret Attraction off the back of that performance. I think she's right on track to be contesting some of these races upcoming over the Kalgoorlie racing round, and it wouldn't surprise to see her going around in a Hannon's handicap either.
Yeah, definitely a horse that you can follow out of today's meeting, and she'll probably go on to get a few more wins on the board. I would say she's got plenty of talent, and we saw that last preparation too. But it is time for the feature on today's program, the Coolgardie Cup. A great race, a fairly open race. Ginger Baker and the other Fernie runner, she's been
in Sentimental Hero,
yes, thanks Raleigh. They've been battling for favouritism, so be optimistic. Ginger Baker is now our favourite, just as we started this preview. But yeah, they have been tossing between favourites all afternoon, so it'll be very interesting to see who will start our favourite.
Yeah, the market suggests it's more of a 2-horse race than anything here, Amelia, and that's the way I'm seeing things as well. I think it's pretty clear cut that they are the class runners of the race in Ginger Baker and Sentimental Hero. Ginger Baker, as we know, had that winter features campaign over the dark depths of the winter, running in the Hyperion, the Belmont Sprint, run third in a Strickland Stakes, and then won that Southwest Autumn Cup as well over the staying journey. So he certainly proved that he's got those credentials to be able to step up and trip and still run really well. But I'm siding up with Sentimental Hero. He was a Perth Cup favourite. It was too bad to be true in that race. I don't think we saw the best of him on that occasion. I thought his runs leading into the Perth Cup were sensational. He resumed over the mile without a trial. I thought he did enough to suggest that he's going to take great improvement for having that run under the belt. And second up today with that platform, I thought he'd be hard to beat.
Okay, let's get into this preview. Runners are now in the parade ring for the feature on today's program. It is the Coolgardie Tyre Service Coolgardie Cup over the 1760 metres, and the first horse we'll look at is Ginger Baker for Dan and Ben Pearce and Brad Parnham.
Well, there's a case to be made that this horse is the class of the race as well, Amelia, as we touched upon. He did have a winter features preparation this year. He went around in a Hyperion Stakes, was only beaten 3 lengths in that Hyperion Stakes as well, behind Western Empire, then ran third in a Strickland over 2,000 metres on a heavy track behind Admiration Express, a winner of a Southwest Autumn Cup as well at listed level over the 2,200 metres, ticking a big box for him in his career, given he'd never won past the mile prior to that either. So he's certainly proven to be a versatile horse. He's consistent, he's tough, he can put himself right over the speed. He only carries a kilo more here than what he's been carrying under weight for age conditions through the winter as well. So he's incredibly well in at the weights off the back of that too. He was freshened up after that Autumn Cup victory at 2,200 metres. He resumed in a listed Idyllic Prince over 1,300 and actually ran third on that day behind Fanta. So we know that Fanta's been arguably the form galloper of the winter features here in WA. That's really good form. It's the right sort of a race for him, but he is jumping up pretty sharply in trip from when we last saw him at the races, 1,300 straight to the 1,760. But from what we've come to know of this horse, he's a warrior and he's as tough as they come.
Into $2.80 currently. The two, Be Optimistic, Luke Fernie and Joey as a party.
Well, she's a pretty classy mare at her best. We know that. She's first up here this afternoon. She's not only run second, but also run third in a couple of Perth Cups. She's a Kalgoorlie Cup winner previously a couple of years ago as well. So when she is right and up to the mark, we know she's more than capable of winning a race of this nature. She goes well fresh. Generally, she's 249 days between runs. She's been given a really good break leading into her return to the races here today. She has had that trial as well over the 1450 metres to just tick her along, getting back to the track. I do think, though, that's first up at the 1760, especially from the barrier that she's drawn and how far back she is likely to get. It's always going to be pretty tough.
The 3 is Sentimental Hero for Peter Fernie and Lucy Fiore.
Well, you'd anticipate that he's on a Kalgoorlie Cup campaign with another tilt at the Perth Cup on the horizon for him as well. He did some unbelievable things last preparation for Peter Fernie. He was second in a lucky grey over 1,800 metres behind Diamond Scene, was the winner of the AJ Scahill in pretty dominant fashion as well, defeating In Good Order. Then was a moral beaten in an ATA at listed level, the final lead into that Perth Cup behind Diamond Scene, then was just too bad to be true when going around a $3.50 favourite and very well backed as favourite in that Perth Cup when running along last. First up, no trial this campaign, was in the blue spec at 1,600 metres at Belmont Park, and he did race a little bit fresh there as well, like he was going to always need the run, but that should top him off really nicely for this race here. Second run of the preparation this afternoon. Drops a couple of kilos off his back from that run, gets a great map from the barrier. With that grounding run at the mile and the platform, I've got him on top.
4 Border Force up to Kalgoorlie for the first time for Sean and Jake Casey and Matty Derrick.
He's a little bit outclassed here and unsure of him at the distance. He has been consistent but racing below his best this prep.
5 Dancing Jack for Pamela Oram and Luke Campbell.
Going to struggle against these and hasn't won for a very long time.
6 Decoration for Dan and Ben Pearce and Tash Faithful.
Well, he's unbeaten here. He's 3 from 3 here at the track, and he gets this race at the right time. He's tough as old boots. He'll slide forward to hold a position over the speed. He's rock hard fit. He's proven at the distance range as well. But this is a very good acid test for him. He is going to need to elevate, but he strikes this race for mine at the right time.
7 Feuding for Peter Fernie and Troy Turner.
Well, he never runs a bad race here at Kalgoorlie, this horse. This is certainly a bit tougher than his recent runs, but he's mapped to get the right run to be competitive once again from off the speed.
8 It's a Lance is third up for Peter Fernie and Chanel Cooper.
He's returned in terrific order this campaign. Second in a Campbell Cup, second in a Tattersalls Cup behind Decoration, and wasn't beaten far at the finish there either. He is terribly in at the weights here though. Chanel Cooper can't use any of her claim. I do think the depth of this race is a little bit beyond him, but you can't deny that he's returned and he's going super.
The 9 is Ryewood for Peter Fernie and Holly Watson.
Was first up no trial last start over the mile in that Tattersalls Cup, and I thought he ran really well. I love the way I should say, hit the line. She should improve for having that run under the belt. We know she's a quality staying mare on her day, but given she's at her best when she can really wind up and build the revs and build momentum into the race, I do think Barrier 1 could be a little bit problematic, but she's got the right person in the saddle for the job at the moment with Holly Watson on board.
The 10 Santa Bray for Ross Craig and Alicia Whittington.
He's drawn pretty wide here, Santa Bray, and I do think he's outclassed in this lineup.
11 Uncompromised for Helen Harding and Zephyr Johnston Porter.
He's a good horse on his day, this bloke. He just might not have come back this preparation. I do think the wet track was against him first up, but he was playing again last start on a soft 5. Gets a bit of weight relief here today. Has drawn nicely in barrier 2, but he'd certainly need to find a few lengths.
The 12 Villains, the blinkers go on. Chris Nickel goes on for Helen Harding.
Doubt that'll be enough. He's been very well beaten at his past couple, and I wouldn't have thought he'd be troubling these.
Okay, Riley, how do you order them in the feature?
3, 1, 6 and 2 here for me. 2 horse race for mine. Sentimental Hero on top. Didn't mind his first up run in that blue spec without a trial. He's going to derive great improvement for that, and I do think he's the class stayer of this race, so getting out in trip should only benefit him, and he should get a lovely run throughout from the barrier that he's drawn here today. So Sentimental Hero on top for me. From the 1 Ginger Baker, who is comfortably the main danger, you could make a genuine case that he is the class of the race. He'll put himself right over the speed. He's tough, and he's been really competitive in better races than this through the winter, and was the winner of that Southwest Autumn Cup to tick that staying box as well over the 2,200 metres on a very rain-affected surface. The 6 Decoration, this is a great acid test for him, and he gets to this race at the right time. He's rock hard fit, he's racing well, he'll put himself over the speed, and he's unbeaten here at Kalgoorlie, 3 from 3. And 2, Be Optimistic in for 4th. She runs well fresh. She's going to find the 1760 tough first up, but she's had that trial under the belt, and we know at her best that she is quality, having run multiple placings in the Perth Cup and a previous Kalgoorlie Cup winner. 3, 1, 6 and 2. Sentimental Hero on top for me here, Amelia, in today's feature.
3, 1, 6 and 2, but it's a 2-horse field according to the market. Ginger Baker 275, Sentimental Hero 290. As we hand you upstairs to Royce Newton for the call of the feature, the Coolgardie Cup.
Okay, runners linking along well here for the Coolgardie Tyre Service Coolgardie Cup, 1760. The distance as Decoration goes forward into line. Yet to be defeated at the KBR3. 3 starts for 3 wins, Decoration. There goes Ginger Baker. So who is currently a $3 chance. Be Optimistic goes forward now, along with Feuding. So they're coming forward quick here for the running of today's feature. The Coolgardie Tyre Service Coolgardie Cup. Sentimental Hero has now been backed into favourite, 265, and goes forward now into line for Lucy Fiore. And here comes Verlaines now to join the line. Chris Nicol in the saddle. Santa Bray, next one to come forward, to be ridden by Alicia Whittington from the Ross Craig yard. The red lights are on, so stand by. We're set for a start in the Coolgardie Cup. Ready to go, 1760 ahead of them. One of our middle distance features. An attendant just jumping up with one out wide. So Sentimental Hero, your favourite with Tab Touch. And Dancing Jack just being backed out. So Dancing Jack, along with Luke Campbell, just being backed out of line. So we've just got an issue towards the inside of the line here. Okay, so the vet just have a look at number 5, Dancing Jack, being trotted up behind the line. Remainder of the line stands well. Sentimental Hero, 260. Ginger Baker, $3. Then out to $7.50 about Decoration as Dancing Jack goes back into line. Pass fit to start. Red lights on. Stand by. Take 2 in the Coolgardie Cup. They're off racing. Now bouncing out well was Rywood, pushing forward Ginger Baker early on. Likewise with It's a Lance wanting to be on speed. Border Force up there in the leading division as well, and trying to cross early on its Decoration. So as they settle into stride, It's a Lance shows the way. Leads out a length, Decoration second, Ginger Baker third, followed by Feuding. Then we had Border Force fifth. They open up a break of a couple of lengths to Rywood. The outside then to the favourite Sentimental Hero, who settles down midfield. They were followed by Uncompromised, and then we had Be Optimistic around the outside, Santa Bray. A further 2.5 then to Dancing Jack, and a similar margin to Verlaine. So they're strung out as they enter the back straight. A good 10 lengths covers the field with 1,000 metres to run. And it's a Lance who shows the way by 2 lengths. Running second, Decoration third, Ginger Baker. They were followed by Feuding. Border Force down on the inside, followed by the mare Rywood, then Sentimental Hero. Santa Bray doing additional work, caught wide, followed by Uncompromised in the second half of the field. Well back then to Be Optimistic, the former Kalgoorlie Cup winning mare. A further 2 then to Dancing Jack, and it's Verlaine's at the tail, 600 metres to run. And it's a Lance trying to do it from the get-go for Chanel Cooper. Shows out by a length. Now running second on the outside, we've got Decoration. Down on the inside, Ginger Baker just sweating on a run. They were followed next of all by Santa Bray, whose run looks to have come to an end. To the outside, Sentimental Hero starting to get warm. Then Border Force, followed next of all by Uncompromised. They're into the straight now, and it's a Lance now taken by Decoration. Sentimental Hero the outside, and Ginger Baker, there's been a fall. There's a fall halfway up the straight. It's Ginger Baker together with Sentimental Hero. Ginger Baker the inside lifting, and Ginger Baker goes on and takes out the Coolgardie Tyre Service Coolgardie Cup. Second across the line, Sentimental Hero. Photo third. We had Decoration, It's a Lance, Border Force all crossing the line together. Then Uncompromised, followed in by Dancing Jack, Verlaine's Feuding, Be Optimistic, and Santa Bray, one of the last to greet the judge. And we just had a fall there at the furlong pole, and paramedics attending there with the rider of Rywood, who was the horse to lose its rider there, Rywood, Holly Watson. So we'll keep you updated there. Just at the furlong pole, things got a little bit tight. And Holly Watson just being dislodged off Rywood as she made her run, but it's Ginger Baker who takes out the Coolgardie Cup. The top weight salutes, holding off a game sentimental hero, but Ginger Baker is your winner. And I can report that Holly is currently sitting up, which is good to see. So we'll keep you up to date there with Holly's condition. Number 1, Ginger Baker, your winner for Dan and Ben Pearce, was the class engagement. Ridden by Brad Parnham, by Gingerbread Man from Spring Violet, and owned by the Greenfields Lodge Syndicate, managed by T. Patrizzi. Number 3 gets second, Sentimental Hero for Pete Fernie and Lucy Fiore, by Alma Her from Sentimental Star, owned by Andrew Ingalls, Annabelle Ingalls, Pete Fernie and Karen Fernie. Third in the 6, Decoration for Dan and Ben Pearce, ridden by Tash Faithful, by Epaulette from Visited, owned by the Oakland Park Stud Syndicate, also Mrs. D. Pearce and the Hamlin Bay Thoroughbred Syndicate. Fourth in was the 8, It's a Lance, Pete Fernie and Chanel Cooper, the pacemaker in the Cup. 1, 3, 6, 8, a long neck by 3 lengths. The official margins as we head down to the yard with Amelia and check in with Team Pearce after taking out the Coolgardie Cup with Ginger Baker.
Thanks, Royce. Catching up with Dan Pearce here after the win of Ginger Baker in the feature on today's program, the Coolgardie Sprint. Congratulations, Dan, second up today. What were the expectations coming into this race?
We thought he'd go well. He's an old marvel, this horse. He's he's won out to the 22, and then he's fronted up here today. I guess the question was the track, and we were 50-50 whether to go to the Farnley yesterday, and then it poured with rain yesterday, and I was sort of going, geez, I hope this works out, or I'm going to have egg on my face. But yeah, look, I was confident the horse was going really well. His work's been great, and yeah, look, he just keeps going from strength to strength.
It was third in the Idyllic Prince first up, did get a soft 5 that day though, and probably a bit short for him, so a much more suitable distance today. Yeah, well, and he has won, although he likes the soft, he has won 5 races on a good track as well. So yeah, we sort of took a punt and which worked out to be the right call. How many of these have you won now?
2.
2?
Pushing Shapes.
Pushing Shapes, a marvel. Well, congratulations. A great effort with him to bring him up today. A great effort. Well done.
Thank you.
There's Dan Pearce after the win of Ginger Baker, and here's winning jockey Brad Parnham.
It's been a remarkable horse over the journey, Amelia. Ginger Baker. Brad Parnham on board once again for another victory here today. Brad, fair to say this horse is just the epitome of toughness, isn't he?
Yeah, he is very tough. He's been a great horse to me. He's always he gives 100%, and although they were a bit quick for me early, I was trapped away, so I had to bide my time for a run, and the horse that ran second actually got in front of me, so for him to pick up with that weight and get back past it was a really good effort, and yeah, just proves how tough he is.
It's pretty remarkable to think, isn't it, up until 2 starts ago, that he never won past the mile in his career to date, given how long that he has been around for. He won that race over the 2,200 metres and butted up with a win over the 1760 today. It's fair to say, as crazy as it sounds, as a rising 8-year-old, he may even be just adding more strings to his bow and getting better.
Yeah, that's it. I think, he's probably, like you say, he's a tough old horse, and he probably really wasn't tried too much over the trips early, because he did have that real good turn of foot, and he was really competitive over the 14 to the 16. But yeah, just sort of last time in, I said to the boys after he's running the Strickland, I reckon they should keep going with him, because he just felt like he was going to keep staying, and yeah, he's just developed into that type of horse, and yeah, he's going to continue on with the next ones. He's probably going to get a bit of weight again, but he's I think even with the weight, he can still sort of go pretty close to winning them.
Was there any niggling doubt in the back of your mind that those performances over the winter months were perhaps amplified by the fact that he does perform so well on those rain-affected surfaces? Because as he was able to show today, he turned up and put that to bed on this firm track here. Yeah,
look, I don't read too much into it, because I know he has gone well on the rain-affected grounds and all that, but I don't think that's the only reason he goes well. So I think any track condition he can be really suited to, as long as he gets the right run and he's peaking on the day.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
There's Brad Parnham combining with Dan and Ben Pearce to take out the feature, the Coolgardie Tyre Server Coolgardie Cup. 1, 3, 6 and 8 in the feature, and we'll be make sure to bring you an update on Holly Watson as soon as we do hear from them and get a report. But last I heard, she is sitting up and she is okay, so hopefully we can bring you an update as soon as we hear. But it is Ginger Baker who takes out the feature on the program here from the KBRC.